I've always felt like he was alive. So I think for me, Jesus being alive in my life is congruous with breathing or existing. Almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago actually, my husband and I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And one day I get a knock on the door from Fisher's police officer, and he introduces, and this is Chaplain so-and-so. You know, my heart sank, because I knew nothing good was coming from a police officer and a chaplain at the door. And he told me that my husband had been killed in a car accident. It was interesting, the night before, Ron and I had a really long talk, and he was talking about some things that were bothering him, and I mean, nothing extraordinary, but just we were back and forth discussing things, which was kind of unusual for us. He worked a lot, and it was at night after the kids had gone to bed, and I remember saying, and he said, "Can you just hold me?" And I remember saying, "I wish I had bigger arms to hold you." And I said, "I wish my arms were as big as God's." And he says, "I can feel that in you." So, but I just said, "I wish you were tiny." I mean, I wish either I was bigger or you were tiny, that you could just feel, being wrapped up. And he said, "I do." The next morning, he left for work. The last time I'd seen him, there was nothing unsaid, there was nothing undone, and it was as if God had given us just that moment. So that was extraordinary for me. During that time, when it was just the boys and me, of course, I stayed in touch with friends, and Ron's best friend was living in Houston, and he was actually both of our best friends. We traveled together a lot. We had visited with his family extensively, so we knew him and his family, and he was living in Houston, and eventually he was in Indianapolis and said, "I'd like to marry you, and I'd like to, be with you." My natural impulse just was to be the protective mama bear, and I said, "We're fine. The boys are good. I'm good. We have help. We have support. We don't need you. We're fine." And then he said, "But what you don't understand is I need y'all." And I thought, wow, here I am, the needy one, right? I'm the widow with 2 small children. I'm the needy one, and I wasn't. And he wanted a family, and he wanted to be a part of what we had here. We got married, and as far as the boys are concerned, I mean, he's dad. Of course, they know Ron. They have their memories of Ron, but Todd's been the one who's been there at soccer games and taekwondo classes and parent-teacher conferences. And there are many scriptures that stay with me. There are a handful that are always in the forefront. Consider the lilies of the field. They work nor toil. Solomon in all his glory is not clothed as beautifully as they are. We don't need to worry. I have a painting in my house that depicts that exact scripture, and it just has the word at the bottom, consider. And there's flowers and birds and things, and I pass by that multiple times a day in my house, and it reminds me, why am I worried? It doesn't matter what I wear, it doesn't matter, how I look. It just matters that I'm trusting in the Lord with all my heart, and I'm going to be still and know that He is God.